Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, last time, WWF was in Chicago for Backlash, and quite a bit went down on that show. The two-man power trip held all the gold, and thus held all the power. Er, uh, we saw Shane McMahon take an insane dive onto the Big Show. And we saw some other cool stuff happen as well. But now, a week later, at least in terms of this timeline, and WWE or WWF, I should say, is now in the UK, more specifically in Earl's Court Exhibition Centre or in London. So let's see what's going down now that we're across the pond. It's time for Insurrextion 2001. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had an okay time with this match, with this show, I should say. Now this one kind of similar to like Saturday night's main events, especially nowadays. Kind of a glorified house show in a way. But it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you just gotta give the people what they want, and that's okay. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. But if you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match, about each match, I should say. Excuse me, and we're going to go match by match. No matches on Sunday Night Heat, this time around. I don't think there was a Sunday Night Heat before this one because this was on a Saturday. I forgot. It actually just slipped my mind that this was on a Saturday. Hey, sorry, but yeah. So, we're on a Saturday here, more specifically Saturday, May 5th. It's on in 2001, and it's not May the 4th, but it is Revenge of the 5th. And something going into it that is worth mentioning is that Linda McMahon has apparently in kayfabe changed up all the matches. It opens up Insurrection, that is, opens up with William Regal and Mr. McMahon talking, and Mr. McMahon is complaining about each match being changed by his wife, soon to be ex-wife Linda, and sure enough, Linda comes in and tells them that she has indeed changed every match for the sake of the crowd, to give the crowd, I guess, more so what they want. And so I guess this card is technically following December to December 2006 rules, except thankfully not every single match is gonna suck here. But Linda also says that the only match that was not changed was the main event between the Undertaker and the two-man power trip. Yes, before at Backlash it was a tag team, Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, versus the two-man power trip, and of course, first the Brothers of Destruction lost. This time, the Undertaker wants the two-man power trip all to himself, and so he specifically not only refused to have the match changed, but actually requested that it be a handicap match between the two-man power trip. He's out for revenge for his brother being taken out by the two-man power trip, and so Linda McMahon obliges, but other than that, in terms of kayfabe, every other match has been changed, which does make me wonder. Or in kayfabe, what was the original plan? And not entirely sure, but nevertheless, let's get into the show proper. Starting with a singles match as Eddie Guerrero battles Grandmaster Sexay. Now, I did forget to mention in my Backlash review, so I'll mention it here. They did show a segment after the Shane McMahon Big Show match of Steve Blackman in WWF New York, and Grandmaster Sexay kind of interrupted him. Steve Blackman was doing kind of like interview segment, kind of talking with Jim Ross and Paul Heyman, or I believe it was Jonathan Coachman, if I'm not mistaken. But then Grandmaster Sexay interrupted him, and kind of a funny segment there. But Grandmaster Sexay this time on the actual card, and they mentioned that Sky Too Hottie was injured, so Grandmaster Sexay is going it alone in terms of Too Cool. And at this point, I believe Rikishi is still a heel, so Grandmaster Sexay, of course, forced to essentially go it alone. Meanwhile, he's battling Eddie Guerrero here, who, if you remember from Backlash, unsuccessfully tried to capture the European Championship. This match kind of just okay. Kind of a way to kind of wake the crowd up. Nothing too crazy happens on the show. A decent little back and forth with Eddie Guerrero getting the win and kind of rolling up Grandmaster and using that lying, cheating, stealing tactics that he's known for in order to get the win, and I believe grabbing at the tights, if I'm not mistaken, and in order to pick up the win, which he essentially does in this match. So Eddie gets the win over GM. I'll just call him that, so I don't have to say it every single time. But yeah, decent little match. Nothing, like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too spectacular, but yeah. And so, decent, I guess, way to open the show. But next up, in a four-way elimination, or actually, hey, whoa, I jumped way ahead. Let's back up. Up in six-person tag team action in question mark, and you'll see why that question mark is there. The Radicals, that being Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Terry Runnels, battle the Hollies, that being Crash, Hardcore, and Molly. Now, Terry is not in her wrestling gear, and she said she couldn't find a wrestling gear. She couldn't find a shop to where she could buy wrestling gear. You're telling me there was no place in London that sold just like a pair of pants and like a shirt, because that's what a lot of other wrestlers wrestle in. But nevertheless, she comes out saying she's not wrestling, so it's just going to be a straight up tag between the Radicals and the Hollies. But Holly is having none of that, and she goes after Terry Runnels anyway, and even gets herself tagged in at one point to battle Terry. Otherwise, this match, again, just kind of okay. A not terrible action between the two sides. We're not quite at Moppy yet with Perry Saturn. And for here, he's just the Radicals teaming with Dean Malenko. Oh, and the Radicals at this point, I believe, have lost both Eddie and Chris Benoit in terms of their team structure. So it's kind of just them, and then, and of course, Terry and Perry are dating in storyline. But and they might have been dating in real life as well. Not entirely sure, but yeah, at this point, I think that's where we're at in terms of timeline. And then, of course, the Holly Cousins Crash and Hardcore, or hopefully Crash getting a lot more sleep now, and everything now that he's no longer Hardcore champion. But nevertheless, as this match, decent little back and forth. Ultimately, thanks kind of to a distraction from Terry and Molly, it allows the Radicals to pick up the win over the Hollies and get at the win and kind of escape there. So I guess props to them. But next up, Big Show comes out to cut a promo. Calling out Test, who he attacked previously. He and kind of damaged his ribs, so Test has to tape up ribs. But Big Show calls him out, calling Test a coward. Yeah, how dare you have your ribs injured by me and not able to compete? You're a coward. But Test, sure enough, shows up, and they get to brawling. Big Show tries beating up Test, and so Big Show then attempts to walk off, saying nobody's stepping up to him. He does take out Test on the outside, but then Bradshaw shows up and battles with Big Show, and we have a match apparently. Cool, but this one kind of just has a mini back and forth, kind of to give the crowd, like I said, very very house show vibe energy with this card, or which I guess isn't always a bad thing, but yeah. So eventually the Test does get involved and does attack the Big Show, allowing Bradshaw to hit one of his weaker clotheslines from hell in order to pick up the win. But this match just kind of meh, kind of a nothing burger of a match, unfortunately. But I guess you didn't really expect too much from this. But next up in a four-way elimination match, Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and X Factor duke it out. So kind of combining both parties in the European Championship match and parties in the Dudley's X Factor match into one tag team match here. And I should probably say who's representing. Edge and Christian is obvious. The Hardy Boys is obvious. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon. And they do reference the battles that those three teams have had especially with like TLC and everything. And at this point, they were coming off TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17 not too long ago. Probably one of the best matches ever. But yeah, and X Factor is being represented by X Pac and Just Incredible. Not bad in terms of action. It is elimination style. All four teams did okay. X Factor is the first to go. Oh, and then the or I should say, the Hardys are out very quickly after, and then it's Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys. But ultimately, Edge and Christian do pick up the win over the Dudleys. It's again kind of just an okay match. Much longer than the other three matches we've seen so far. Or in fact, if you combine the times of the other three matches, that being 4 minutes 30 seconds for the opener between Eddie Guerrero and GMS, and then 5 minutes 37 for Radicals vs. Hollies, and then 3:20 for Bradshaw and Big Show. All three combine, and still don't quite, or actually it's just slightly more than this match, but still just kind of an okay match for the most part. But now, next up, the real fun begins in a rematch match. The first of technically, I guess, three. The third is kind of one with an asterisk, and that is the main event. The third of three rematches is the first of three with an asterisk rematches is the 2 out of 3 falls match, as once again Chris Benoit battles Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle has tried to make his claim that Benoit technically lost the Ultimate Submission match at Backlash because in the Olympic rules, sudden death begins immediately after her things end in a tie, and that's when Benoit tapped to the ankle lock. So Benoit technically tapped out, so Benoit technically lost. Cool theory, Kurt, except obviously the WWE is not going by Olympic rules. Rules pretty obvious there, but yeah. Then Chris Benoit steals Kurt Angle's gold medals, so Kurt wants them back. Heck, even saying to Benoit, "I want them back on the show," and Benoit says, "Don't worry, your medals are safe in a safe, warm place." I'm pretty sure you can see where this is going, but nevertheless, they battle out here. This match still a lot of fun. Not quite as fun as the Ultimate Submission match back at Backlash, but still pretty good between both men, and both men very, very impressive. Benoit manages to clean sweep Kurt Angle, winning 2-0 in terms of falls, which is kind of surprising. But Benoit picks up the win over Angle. Very fun, very competitive match. They steal the show. Like I said, not quite as much as they did at Backlash, but still a very fun match. And Benoit reveals that the medals were in a safe and warm place near his junk. So he holds them out and kind of drops them for Kurt Angle to grab. So yeah, you probably saw that coming, but cool. Oh, great. But next up in a singles match for the Queen's Cup, the second of the 3 rematches and the semi-main event, and for the show, Chris Jericho this time battles William Regal. Of course, if you remember from Backlash, at Backlash, last time was the Duchess of Queensberry match between Regal and Jericho, and so here's the rematch. This time for William Regal's Queen's Cup, which is essentially a big trophy. This match was really good. I think I kind of give the edge, unlike the Benoit Angle match. I give this the edge. I get this match between Regal and Jericho the edge to their match at Backlash. I guess mainly because this time you didn't have the Duchess of Queensberry rules to kind of start the match, but still a very fun match and a very fun encounter between the two. Both men still incredibly skilled in the ring, so it does lead to a very, very competitive, fun match. Ultimately, Jericho does get the walls of Jericho in on William Regal, and thus Regal is forced to tap out. So Jericho gets his win back from Backlash. Will they face again? And at the next pay-per-view, who that being Rebellion, we will find out. Next up in the main event, in a handicap match, this time for just the WWF Championship, at the two-man power trip of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H battle the Undertaker. So as I mentioned, Undertaker and Kane lost at Backlash. Then and Kane was taken out by both Austin and Triple H. So now Undertaker wants revenge, and she wants some handicap. This is the one match Linda McMahon didn't change. So you're telling me Linda booked Bradshaw versus Big Show for the show? Oh, well, not really, because that was more impromptu, but nevertheless, Undertaker wants them both, and he's going to fight them one-on-one. This match was kind of okay. A lot kind of similar to what happened at Backlash. A lot of domination for the two-man power trip, which makes sense because they're going 2-on-1 against Undertaker. Undertaker does come back, does get his shine in against the two-man power trip. Stephanie and Vince interfere again, but this time the Undertaker does put them away. And the stipulation is that Undertaker would win the WWF Championship by pinning Stone Cold Steve Austin. And so if Undertaker, so kind of similar to the previous show, but this time just one title on the line. So if Undertaker pins Stone Cold Steve Austin, let me make that clear. If Undertaker pins Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he becomes the WWF champion. So naturally, he pins Triple H. Now, I guess I kind of get why they did that. They kind of have their cake and they eat it too. Where Undertaker does get the win, he gets the win. The fans go home happy because Undertaker gets the win, and he gets his win back from Backlash. But Austin also gets to hold on to the title. But it's kind of weird and kind of boneheaded. Like, logistically, and I guess this means Undertaker probably wouldn't have won, but logistically, why not both titles on the line again? Or why not WWF titles on the line, but if either Austin or Triple H get pinned, and then Austin loses the title. Instead, Undertaker just pins Triple H. He doesn't win and he wins the match, but he doesn't win the title. So Undertaker kind of looks like a dummy for just pinning Triple H, but at least he gets his win back. Heck, I don't know, but this match was kind of okay, a bit slow at times, especially with like the beatdown of the Undertaker. And again, I get it 2-1, but yeah, the match not really the best, but it was just kind of okay. And you know what? That's okay. But yeah, that is it for Insurrextion. As for the strongest and weakest match of the night, this time I'm the strongest match. Definitely Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle. Once again, they steal the show. I think Jericho and Regal is like a close second, but Benoit and Angle hold such great chemistry together. In terms of the weakest, probably Bradshaw versus Big Show. But nevertheless, that's going to do, and I guess that makes sense because that was more impromptu. But that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload, and let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on Insurrextion. And next time we do a pay-per-view for 2001 and for the Invasion storyline, we will be at Judgment Day 2001. So we'll see what goes down there. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.